All right, so grab your hot chocolate once again, sit back and relax, because we are going to be going through the dev server just one more time to kind of nitpick some features that has been, kind of bugging me a little bit, as well as some things that I am very much looking forward to, as you can currently see right now. But we'll get more into this part after my small little disclaimer. This is the dev server. Also, don't mind my voice is kind of going out right now. I've been doing a lot of videos lately, which means everything is going to be subject to change. Gaijin might add some new things. They might improve on some existing vehicles. And of course, there are plenty of vehicles right now that just aren't present in the game. And that's not by any fault of the creator. It comes down to what Gaijin wants us to see. And there are some vehicles that just aren't really ready. And also, there's one more thing I do want to talk about to kind of clarify, because apparently this stepped on a lot of people's toes in the comments section, and rather than people engaging in conversation, people just tend to kind of yell at me about this, and I want to clarify and simplify something so that you guys can understand my point of view, and hopefully we can be on the same page. But more about that when we actually get to the segment. So again, take everything with a gigantic grain of salt. Now, with that being said, let's start off with this, the American F-18, right? But not really just the aircraft. No, it is the layout. This has me insanely excited because yes, it's a very simple feature, but this outlines the capabilities of all your aircraft that you're going to be playing in War Thunder in a very easy to digest way. And here's the best part. You can hover over all of the weapons to see their capabilities. Like, okay, what do I have today? I have, air-to-air, AIM-7P, 120B, 120C, we have the 9L, 9M, and then, what kind of ordnance do I want to bring today? GPS-guided bomb? Nah, I'm not feeling that, so how about this? Laser guided, or perhaps even this, a walleye missile, or even the Mavericks. And this again has me excited because it oversimplifies everything in a very easy to digest way. I had to say that twice to make an emphasis about it. And the same can be said for helicopters, albeit very basic. I can appreciate this nonetheless. Oh, that's pretty cool actually. I didn't see that one. That's the Stinger missile. That's cool. You don't really want to use this one on this helicopter, by the way. Go watch my previous video and you will understand why. And also, it does exist for the lower tier aircraft as well. And you gotta admit, this looks so good. I mean, this looks great. Gaijin, very simple, yet very effective. Well done. But let's move over to the next subject, which is the M10 Booker. Now, this vehicle was recently canceled. I understand the reasoning for it. We had about, 18 of them, at least from what I read on the wiki. And I know it's Wikipedia, all right? Don't sue me for it. But from what I read, apparently this vehicle was canceled simply because it just did not meet the operational specs that was outlined by, I guess, Congress or the military. I forget how this stuff kind of works. And it kind of makes sense, right? It's a 42-ton vehicle. It's meant to be a light tank, which this is a light tank by definition. Actually, does it say right there? Yeah, it's a light tank, but at 42 tons, not exactly air droppable nor overly efficient in terms of mileage, as well as just, I guess, raw performance. But that doesn't really matter here in War Thunder because this thing does come with a whole set of awesome features, right? It has the M900 round at 10.7. It's going to be a wondrous round to use, that I can assure you. And it kind of sucks that the AGS is 12.0 and it's truly a significantly better vehicle, but with significantly worse firepower. But that's a whole video for a different day. Now, when it comes to the armor layout, I can't tell you much about it because it's not complete. I would well imagine this is gonna have spall liner. It's gonna have probably composite screens or perhaps even some NERA elements. I haven't looked that deep into it, but if it does, it should make this thing a little bit more survivable. But at the same time, I don't think it's really gonna matter too much because at the end of the day, when it comes to a light tank, the name of the game is do not get shot at. But there's one more important thing about this vehicle that might make it a little bit of a detriment to play, and that is gun handling. Now, sure, the turret traverse on this thing is amazing. 40 degrees with an ace crew. That is nothing to scoff at, but the gun itself up to 10 degrees. Now, don't get me wrong, it's way better than, say, the Oplot at, 4.6, 4.4, which is terrible, by the way. 10 degrees is nothing to scoff at again, but It's not the best. It's not like an Abrams with its 24 plus degrees, or even like the Russian tanks with their 30 degrees in the upper BRs. But I guess that's not gonna matter too much because at 10.7, you're not gonna be running into too many vehicles with easily usable guns. Oh, and the gun sights are pretty good too, 3 to 10. Gen 2 thermal sight, CITV does not work right now. I've already done a test on that. Incomplete vehicle. And also no auto loading mechanism from what I could see. But that turret basket, oh man, good luck. Dude, you get shot at anywhere that turret basket goes, you're boned. Yeah. And next up we have helicopters. If you didn't know, Gaijin has added the LDIRCM to all the new Apaches, the new ones, all the E variants, which is very nice. So now Britain, Japan, as well as France with their Dutch variants, now all have the LDIRCM, which is nice because in my Charlie 3 video, I was struggling to get footage for that helicopter because not only are the missiles terrible, but the fact that is Iris-T will make an easy meal of this thing. I mean, if I was facing the Germans and I saw that Iris-T, I was immediately just hitting the deck and just hoping they wouldn't see me. But does this make things a little bit more complicated for the top tier environment now that just about everyone has their own variant of the LDIRCM, which makes the Iris-T platform, such as the German TADs, a little bit more inefficient? I'll let you guys tell me in the comment section. But moving on, we have the Japanese, or in this case, the Indonesian, I believe, Su-30 MKM. Is it Indonesian? I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with the export vehicles to that region of the world, so bear with me here. But this, I'm gonna say it outright, I think is better than the Russian variant of the Su-30. Sure, it doesn't get thrust vectoring. In truth, to me, thrust vectoring is a bit of a gimmick. Yeah, sure, it looks nice, and I've used it to good effect, but really it's not something I look forward to using because it just bleeds too much energy and it's hard to accelerate with the Su-30 as is. And I usually get my butt kicked if I try it. So to not have it is completely fine by me, but it's not just that. No, it's two things about this aircraft that makes this thing formidable, and that is the 38 MTEs, which we have right here, or MOEs, excuse me. Here's the MTEs. Basically the exact same thing as you would find with the Russian variant. It might have a little bit less range, or maybe it's not nearly as fast, but it is still a really nimble, fast missile that is going to really ruin your days at top tier. But here's the kicker about this aircraft. You have missile approach warning. Yeah, the Russian Su-30, at least right now, does not have this feature. And this, to me, is a game changer because now not only can I be aware of my surroundings, but I can react to it appropriately too, which means this is going to be an even scarier Su-30 to Kaz with. And I guess the Russians are kind of missing out, but I assume Gaijin is going to change that by giving them a MAL or adding another variant. We'll have to wait and see. But when it comes to the technical specs, I'm not the right person for it. I do apologize. But let's go ahead and move on. And this is where the bit of controversial bit comes into play. Now, this is the American M1A2T. It is a Taiwanese variant of the existing M1A2. It's basically, to my knowledge, a dumbed down variant of the Set V3, but we'll get more into that in a quick second because I want you guys to understand how I say things in War Thunder, because apparently what I say does step on a few toes. And funny enough, it gets me a whole lot of dislikes too. So again, I want to clarify that when I say a certain vehicle, like say for example, the Su-30 in Japan, or maybe even the Apache for the French, right? I don't mean it in the sense of like, it's a French vehicle or this is a Chinese vehicle, right? I just say it for simplicity because that is where they reside in as a tech tree. And I do my very best to try to be as apolitical as I can be when it comes to my channels. My streams are kind of the exception to that because you kind of get like a different version of the Justin that you're seeing right here in a good way. But when it comes to YouTube and even my Twitter, social media, whatever, right? I try to be as very apolitical as I can be. I don't take sides. I don't talk about certain hard subjects, but unfortunately War Thunder is a very political game to some degree. I know the devs don't mean that, but it just kind of is what it is because of the nature of this vehicle. You can well imagine how many times I got death threats over on my social medias for playing Israel. Can you believe that? Yeah, I can't believe I have to say it right here, but when I would play the Merkava or I would play anything else for that matter, I would get death threats. It was pretty insane. But when it comes to the M1A2T, I don't personally mind this vehicle being in this tech tree because it does make sense. It is historically accurate. Some people are trying to say it wasn't, but it really is. I don't know why that's a subject to debate. And to have my powerful vehicle, you know, because I'm an American, obviously, we say that, in a different tech tree, is it concerning? Sure, right? But I don't really care because we all know the Abrams is. We know how it plays. We know it's historically accurate for that matter. And it's not going to be a winner of a vehicle, but it is by far going to be a nice addition because it's going to level out the Chinese tech tree just a bit more. Oh, and trust when I say I am still very disappointed that Gaijin pulled back the whole VT4 coming into the Japanese tech tree. And I understand the reasoning for that. I won't get too far into it, of course, because that is a whole can of worms that I don't really want to open all the way through. But damn, really, guys? This is a game. I don't understand why. There's no like political message being thrown out anywhere for that matter, and yet people still get very upset over it, which I guess I get it. You know, as an American, we don't fully understand this kind of stuff outside of our, you know, little bubble, but I do my best to kind of educate myself. I get why people are like that, but I don't really see it like that because I view this as a game, not as real life. But I guess that's a to each their own situation. So for future reference, if I call this vehicle Chinese, or if I call this vehicle Japanese or something, understand that I'm only saying it to simplify where this vehicle is sitting in a tech tree. I could say Indonesia, I could say Dutch, I could say Taiwanese, and you would probably fully understand, but I'm only saying it to make things very easy for everyone. But I will say this, if you want to talk privately in my Discord or something and talk politics, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm open about it, but my opinions are my own, and seeing that I'm a content creator, I would rather not share them to the public like this because this just isn't the channel for it. All right, I had to get that out there because it was just bugging me, all right? So with that being said, let's talk more about the M1A2T, right? This, in my opinion, is going to be a superior version to what we'd find with the Americans, regrettably enough, because if you take a look at this, the M1A2 SEP V2, what makes this a bad vehicle, in my opinion, is the fact that it has unnecessary things attached to it, right? You have a very high profile, which is very easy to frag. Same goes for the other Abrams, of course, but a lot less here because you don't have all these giant aesthetic pieces that do nothing and makes this a very not so threatening vehicle that you can see from miles off. And let's talk about the armor, right? Because let's be real here, Tusk is useless. I don't like this addition. It does save me from some heat rounds from time to time, but at top tier, even stock vehicles have darts. This does absolutely nothing against them, which is why I prefer playing my SEP V1. That has changed a bit with this because now you get all the amenities of the SEP V2, sort of, except that now you're sitting in a different tech tree and you don't get a laser warning, right? No, you don't. I thought it did at one point, but I guess not. And it weighs less than that of even the M1A2 SEP V1 by about half a ton, which makes this the most formidable, fastest variant of a top tier Abrams. And you can bet I'm going to be throwing in an ace crew on this thing on day one. And also you have the KEW A2, which is basically M829A2. Not entirely, but it pretty much is in War Thunder terms. And I believe you're getting Gen 3 thermal sights for the Gunner 2, or is it Gen 2? It's got to be one or the other, all right? But to see my beloved Abrams in a different tech tree is kind of welcoming. Doesn't really bother me too much, and thankfully, it's not going to be a recurring issue with other nations. So this, I'm completely fine with. And also, one more thing too, I just remembered. Some people got upset over me talking about the J10, about a whole Pakistan-India situation. All right, if you guys didn't know, recently they got into a bit of a tussle, and this vehicle in particular, the J10C, actually downed a couple of Rafales with the PL-15E variant of the missile. And Rafale did actually confirm it. I don't know how many were shot down, but you know, it's political propaganda nonsense when they try to like downplay everything everywhere. But the fact is, this aircraft in particular did shoot down a Rafale, which is why I make the offhanded joke of beware my French pilots out there, the J10C is coming. Probably a joke I shouldn't make, I'll admit, but you gotta admit it was a little funny. Oh, and one more thing, this is gonna be a fun experience. I'm excited for this. I am. I'm sorry. It looks ugly, but I love it. Is it a crewless turret? It is, sort of. Oh, that's going to be really nice. I didn't check the x-ray on this. I think so. This is going to be interesting. A whole lot of missiles too. But can we just talk about one more thing about the BMPT? I know I made a whole video on this. How come these sit at a lower BR than that of even the Puma? Because it gets a dart or something? I don't understand. Like the Puma is 11.0 or 10.3, 11.0 with worse capabilities. Let me go double check the BR just to be safe. Yeah. And yet it sits lower than that of the BMPT. It's kind of a wild thing that I forgot to mention in my previous video. And it's like, why? Guys, will this stay 10.3? Probably not, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's really it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I wanted to talk about, was a couple of new nitpicks and features coming into War Thunder and what I think about some of these vehicles as a whole. I know talking head videos aren't my strong suit, but I hope you guys did enjoy this, and I hope I clarified some things as well. And yes, I will be covering infantry once it actually drops. I should hopefully be getting access to the closed beta to it as a content creator. If I don't, I'd be kind of surprised. And I'm really curious to see how that game mode is going to pan out in War Thunder, but hopefully Gaijin doesn't get any weird ideas and try to bring infantry into our main game. Although, I will say this, why play enlisted at that point? World War II stuff? I mean, Gaijin is basically bringing in enlisted into War Thunder. So what does that mean for the actual game itself? And also, there are premium squads and premium weapons, which is gonna be kind of wild if they do it wrong. But more about that in its own separate video. Again, I hope you guys did enjoy everything. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Try to be civil. You know, I try to be civil myself, but some things do slip through from time to time, and I look forward to reading your guys' comments. But anyways, we're done here. Thank you so much, and I'll definitely see you guys in the next major update and in the regular releases. But I'll see you next time.